Okay, on to our second spotlight for the people who are helping us put this event on today. So our second sponsor is Sun Automation. You'll see their boards around the place. So can I ask Rob to pop up and give us his supplier spotlight? Thank you very much.
All right, vertical roll storage. This is a conceptual design still. Vertical roll storage was designed around safety. It eliminates the need for a clamp truck driver to be riding through your roll storage or your Sherwood forest. And again, it doesn't save a lot of space, but it's revolving around safety. The crab system is another roll delivery system. It's designed for either the roll storage system to deliver it, or your clamp truck driver can deliver it to a location. It'll be scanned into the system. The crab will pick it up, and it runs these rolls up and down the side of your corrugator. Again, safety in mind. No clamp truck driver is going to be running up and down the side of the corrugator, worried about running someone over. When it picks up the roll, it has a laser measuring device on it. So once it's scanned into the system, it knows how much paper is on the roll. So when it brings it back to the storage again, it will scan it back, and it continually updates your inventory of your roll storage. There is no hydraulics involved whatsoever. It uses smart cells here, as you can see right here, so personnel can walk past it. It'll shut itself down if someone walks past it. As soon as you clear the area, it'll start running again. The tracking system on the track that it runs on the floor also does not require any kind of special foundation work, and you can run over it with fork trucks if need be. The whip storage here that was what the conceptual design of the roll storage was based on. It's for your whip or your finished goods storage. The racking system are all static. The only moving parts are the horizontal and vertical T-cart. These are all integrated with your ERP system. So your ERP is telling it where to go, where to store it, where to pull it from, and when it's going to be needed again. Pre-feeders, high-speed operation for high-speed machines. As you can see here, they have this interesting design where they're going to suspend the bundle here while they bring down the table, and the load is going to be pulled in under the bundle while you still have 2 or 3 more bundles in front of it. This reduces cycle time significantly for high-speed machines, especially minis. And again, this rear finger here will hold down the bottom sheet. These are not tampers, these are squaring devices. The squaring device now is keeping that paper straight on going down into the feeder, which is important to help eliminate an operator needed to stand by the side of the pre-feeder all the time to help it along. This paper here is not reality though. You're probably thinking, I don't see that box in my box plant very often, right? But we got a couple of clips here of a little bit of reality. There's reality right there. That's what I see most of the time in the US. I'm not sure about here. Another thing to keep in mind is Para does not use any hydraulics on any of their equipment. Mr. Para told me that oil is for the salad. He said it's not for the machine, so, and it has to be extra virgin, he said. But you can see there's no operator standing here. He does not need to put his arm in there and constantly tending the sheets because they're continuous feed, and one sheet is holding the rear of the other sheet, so it drops just as it's supposed to onto the feed table while it's feeding into either your flexo folder gluer or rotary die cutter. These, this now is a vacuum overhead stacker. Para uses only a vacuum overhead stacker. So that means every sheet coming into the stacker will be nicked together. Not the stolen kind of nicked. As I just learned, that's nicked means stolen here. All the boxes in this video were paid for. They're nicked together so they go through a double breaker line. So if you're doing multiple ups and multiple outs, it'll go through a double breaker. It'll do a full width breaker that comes across the width of the die cutter, and then it'll use a smaller breaker for your outs. Takes these sheets and first it sets them up in bundles. So even if you're doing a full stack, full out of the back of your die cutter, it's still going to bundle it and then full stack it out the back side. Every configuration that you see here of this auxiliary equipment off the back end of these folder gluers and die cutters, they're all customized. They look like they take up a lot of space, but when you are really tight on space is when we can be really creative to be able to fit these solutions in there. And as you notice, full automation. There's no people in here sticking their hands in the machine. going out, it's going to pass the full width breaker, and then it'll make a turn. It doesn't need to brake in that direction, so it's going to make a turn, it's going to go across, and it'll go through the smaller breaker. All this is fitting into one bay, one 45-foot bay. Not sure what that is in meters, sorry about that. And then you're forming the layers on the way to the palletizer. Again, the palletizer is just putting it on the pallet. The layers are formed on the way there. This is the satellite system. It's used on the back of a flexo folder gluer. If you're familiar with chimney stacking or pinwheel stacking, they tend to slow down machines. They cause bottlenecks on flexo folder gluers. So again, we're forming the layer here for a chimney stack. We're going to come in and we're going to separate the bundles here, and then they'll come up to the plexiglass window, the stage, do it again for the second round. And once they're staged in position, we move it up to the next conveyor, and we'll turn 3 of them. This time we'll turn these 3, the next time we'll turn the other 3, the next time we'll turn the other 3. Every layer will be 90 degrees off of each other, so you don't have to use a doubler. This will not slow down your folder gluer while you're doing chimney stacks. As we talked about earlier, the palletizers. Some people tend to call them load formers, but as I said, we form the load on the way to the palletizer. The palletizer can insert a pallet under the load, or it can do dunnage sheets under the load. In this case, we're just doing a bottom sheet or a dunnage sheet. So the dunnage sheets are automatically inserted. Tie sheets are automatically inserted. All this is done by the formula when the operator inputs the order for the first time into the machine. Once that formula is input, the next time you pull this order up, it will automatically bring all these pieces into play. All right. I think we're going to move on. So the palletizer also comes in a double wide version as well. Double wide version would be used on the back of a rotary die cutter, so we can downstack 2 pallets at a time. So if you had a big multi-out project that was going to slow down the machine, we can do 2 pallets at a time on a downstack. This is a single wide version here. Pallet inserter. This is a mainline pallet inserter. As I said, we could insert on the palletizer that we just saw previously, but this would be at the end of your main line. It's capable of about 200 pallets per hour. Each one of these bays has a certain... I hit a button. I hit a button by accident. We're almost done too. I was trying to hit the pointer and I hit something. There it is. All right. Okay, so it's going to go down, your ERP system is going to tell it what's coming down the line. It's going to know which pallet it needs to pick up. It can pick up 2 pallets at a time. It can double stack loads. It can double stack with a pallet in between. It can double stack without a pallet in between. And as I said, it can do 2 pallets at a time. The pallets do not need to be brand new pallets. It could be broken in one corner and it'll still be lifted by the device. So we're going to see the sheet topper come up next. So it also, as an option, you can have a sheet topping device to be able to put your top dunnage sheet on. That top sheet can be a piece of wood, it could be a piece of aluminum, it could be a piece of paper, corrugated of course, anything you want it to be. And this sheet topping device, let me make sure I get the right button. The sheet is going to come into play right about here. And in this case, we're using a piece of wood. It'll set it down on the top as it's coming through. So the strapping machine you see beyond that is something that Para does not do. They don't do strapping machines, they don't do corrugators, they don't do finishing machines, but everything else beyond that, in corrugated machine material handling, they do that. One more piece of equipment, another conceptual design. It was something that was driven by customer innovation. He had a need for a certain product, and we started with a conceptual design, and it'll probably go into production this year. It's based specifically for sheet plant operators. So the sheet plants, typically their loads are coming in with dunnage sheet on it and need something to undress it and pull the bottom sheet off. So this would sit in front of your whip line. And he would undress the top sheet, to cut the scraps off, it'll pull the bottom sheet out, and it'll kick it off to the side. Then it would introduce it into the whip line from there. That's all I have. Thank you.